As we turn back the clocks an hour this weekend for the end of daylight saving time, doctors are discussing some potential health impacts that you may see this weekend. A big one is the potential migraine thanks to a changing sleep pattern.
Between 11 or 12 and 2 o'clock is when most of our hormones are secreted. So if people's sleep is thrown off, hormones are thrown off, that's going more likely to trigger migraines, especially in females.
She says that daylight saving time can also impact people's mood and their ability to wake up and feel alert right away. Again, remember, those clocks need to be turned back at 2 a.m. on Sunday. Thank goodness that usually like your phone does it automatically.
Yeah, it does it for you.
If you forget, but then the microwave, the stove, your car usually.
There's a couple years back in the day we missed church in our family. So
that's always tricky the next day. Yeah.
All right, 6:07 right now, still ahead.
U.S. Supreme Court is set to start working on a case involving gun rights and domestic violence. Our national reporter Stephanie Liebergen is breaking down the complicated case.
And today in our Don't Waste Your Money, we're going to take a look at the cost of storage and whether it's even worth paying for that extra space.
And Friday birthdays. Happy 6th birthday to Nolan and Ava. Hope it's a great one. Kinsley, you are 12 today. Happy birthday. Weston turning 6. Love the smile. Connor is turning 14. Happy birthday to you. Double digits for Avery. Happy birthday. Brantley turning 3. Happy birthday to you. Look at Sierra with that pup turning 6. And Malik turning 6 as well. These are a lot of birthdays. Sienna turning 6. Happy birthday. Carter, you are 8. Happy birthday, bud. Grace is turning 7. Happy birthday, Grace. If you have a birthday coming up, we'd love to celebrate with you. Just send a picture and details to mornings@fox17online.com.
Happy birthday to each one of you. Enjoy your very special days.
An aid bill for Israel is now in the hands of the Senate. The House passed that legislation Thursday that would provide $14 billion to the country as it fights Hamas. The package requires the aid to be offset with spending cuts at the IRS. Senate is expected to reject the bill, but if it were to somehow pass the chamber, President Biden has vowed to veto it.
This morning, Eric Trump will return to the witness stand in the New York civil fraud trial. He started testifying Thursday about his family's real estate business, denying being involved in his father's yearly financial statements. The former president, now accused of lying to banks to secure favorable loans, will address the allegations next week when he takes the witness stand.
FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried has been found guilty of fraud charges. New York prosecutors convinced jurors the 31-year-old tricked thousands of cryptocurrency customers out of billions of dollars. Bankman-Fried will be sentenced in March of next year. The charges carry a maximum sentence of more than 100 years. The president and first lady there traveling to Maine today to meet with survivors, families, and first responders of the Lewiston shooting. 18 people were killed, 13 others injured after a gunman opened fire inside a restaurant and bowling alley. It was the deadliest shooting in the U.S. since last year's massacre at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. But Lewiston, of course, far from the only mass shooting event that we've seen so far this year. The Gun Violence Archive has tallied 588 mass shootings in America since January 1st. The last Saturday alone, we saw 8. But as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle debate solutions to the growing violence, a policy change could soon come down from the nation's highest courts.
And the first family's visit to Maine comes just a few days before the Supreme Court will hear arguments in a firearms case that could have some big implications on who's allowed to have a gun.
Scripps News congressional correspondent Stephanie Liebergen explains.
Just 16 months ago, the Supreme Court issued a major firearms decision, overturning a 100-year-old concealed carry law in New York. On Tuesday, the issue of guns will be in front of the justices again, but this time looking at the intersection of domestic violence and gun rights. The case is United States versus Rahimi, and it centers around a federal law that prohibits someone subject to a domestic violence restraining order from having a gun. But one expert says the way the law is worded presents a challenging issue for the justices.
It's written in such a way that it is illegal for people who may never have done anything wrong to own a gun. And the reason for that is that what triggers this dispossession requirement is the mere issuance of a domestic violence restraining order.
The man at the center of this case, Zacky Rahimi, was under a domestic violence restraining order. His defense team says banning him from having a gun is an infringement on his Second Amendment rights. Their argument points to the Supreme Court's precedent established in the recent case involving New York's concealed carry law.
One of the things that the Supreme Court has said that it and other courts have to do when looking at a case involving, a potential infringement on people's gun rights is to look back through history and see if there's a reasonably analogous regulatory scheme from the founding era.
Rahimi's defense team argues there's no comparative historical law for this case. The government is defending the federal law, saying there's a long history of disarming people who pose a threat to others. Arguments are scheduled for Tuesday morning, but a decision likely won't come down for months. Stephanie Liebergen, Scripps News, Washington.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a Friday morning, already the 3rd of November. Quiet conditions out there right now. We're going to see a fair amount of cloudiness today. Might get in a little bit of sunshine very early, but overall the day is going to trend cloudy. Some light PM showers or a light PM shower, a few sprinkles late afternoon through the evening hours will be possible. A lot of us may not see that, but the chance is there. Mainly dry this weekend with temperatures in the 50s, and then rain showers arrive in here on Monday. Our temperatures are very mild out there. I want you to think of something. The normal to the average high for this time of the year is 53 degrees. We're only about 10 degrees below that. Our normal morning low is well down into the 30s, and we have stopped in the lower 40s across most of the area. You'll notice in Muskegon, it's 51 degrees this morning with a strong wind coming right off Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan water temperatures are in the low to mid 50s, so that stands to reason there. Hard up there in Oceana County, also reaping the benefits of Lake Michigan this morning with a temperature at 49 degrees. Everybody else generally in the low to mid 40s. We've had some clearing skies out there. Any sunshine we see will probably be early this morning, and then we'll cloud up. There is nothing on radar right now. I don't know why the temperatures are in there twice, but we'll show you those again. Pull out to a wider perspective. Fairly mild air off to our south and west, and we'll be moving into the 50s and staying there through the weekend. So you can see a little bit of shower activity off to our north and west. Lots of cloud cover, and that's going to be kind of converging on our area as we go through the day today. So maybe a little bit of sunshine early. That's the partly sunny part of it, but overall, a mostly cloudy day. A chance of some light PM showers through the late afternoon and into the evening hours. 51 degrees for the high. I had 51. Actually going to bump that up. You might have seen our 7-day forecast already, and our day planner has 53. I think with a strong southwest wind, despite the cloud cover, it'll probably move our temperatures a little bit higher than that. So 53 is what we're planning on. There's the cold front as that slides in here. We tap some moisture in the atmosphere. There's not a lot, folks. Some of us won't see anything, but the chance of a few showers will be there through the late afternoon across our northern counties, and then from Grand Rapids southward as we head through the evening and the early overnight hours. Otherwise, I think we decrease the cloud cover a little bit on Saturday for some sunshine, but some of that cloud cover sticks around or comes back in later in the day. High pressures in control, partly cloudy skies Saturday night into Sunday. We'll pick up some sunshine early on Sunday, and then what will happen is the clouds will thicken up ahead of this next weather system. The weekend does look dry, but by the time we get to Monday, this system moves in and we'll likely see some rain showers. Wind is going to be another factor today. Here are the wind speeds today out of the south and west at about 12 to 24 mile per hour with some higher gusts. And by 10 o'clock this evening, you can see those stronger winds are shifting off to the south and east, and they're moving out. So we're about 53 degrees today. The chance of a shower through the late afternoon and evening. 53 tomorrow with partly sunny skies, some sunshine on Sunday. 52 degrees there. Monday showers are likely. Tuesday is voting day. We're up around 50 degrees there, and likely more showers with temperatures falling back into the 40s for the middle to end portion of next week. That's weather. We check traffic at 6:19 on a Friday morning. Here's Rob.
Well, one thing to note is that we're seeing an increase in deer hits when it comes to traffic reports, and that's a reflection of how active the deer get during the fall months, which is something that the hunters eventually will be enjoying, but not the drivers. But deer hits are something to be watchful for, especially on country roads, but we occasionally have them on major streets. There's a deer hit, by the way, on M104 Savage Street in Spring Lake. That's right now. So aside from that, driving conditions very good this morning. Nice dry pavement. It's basically construction that might get you delayed. Downtown Holland should be the final day, I believe, for that closure of West 8th Street in between River Avenue and Pine Avenue. Just that one block is totally closed in the western end of downtown Holland. I'm Rob Westerby, Fox 17 Traffic.
Okay, Rob, thanks. Coming up on 620, still ahead for you this morning.
I'm John Mattery. So many people have so much stuff that they rent storage units. But with those rents going up and up, is storage really worth it? That story coming up.
And more football on Fox 17 this weekend. Coverage begins Saturday at 10 a.m. ahead of a top 25 matchup between the 25th ranked Kansas Wildcats and Texas taking on the 7th ranked Longhorns. After that, a Big Ten showdown at 3:30, Penn State traveling to Maryland. And capping things off at 7 with BYU at West Virginia. Full day of college football fun for you. And the Lions are off this weekend, getting some rest and relaxation, but we still have some NFL games happening. Elliot, you want to pick it up?
Yeah, that's right. So starting coverage will start at noon on Fox 17 with our first game at 1. LA Rams traveling to Green Bay. After that, we have a big NFC East showdown. That's around 4:30 between Cowboys and Eagles. Dallas is 5-2 while Philly is 7-1. Should be a good game.
From family heirlooms to old furniture, Americans rent more than 2 billion square feet of storage space, but the price keeps on climbing.
That's right. Consumer reporter John Mattery letting us know this morning on whether or not we should be paying for units like that.
Are you overwhelmed by how much stuff you have these days? Well, if you're renting a storage unit to hold on to the excess, you may be paying more for the storage than your items are worth.
Mike Fasnick, like so many of us, has a lot of stuff, so he rented a storage unit until the other day.
I actually thought it was a mistake.
The rent on his unit jumped from $130 to $235 a month.
The manager told me, yes, the ownership had been reviewing prices and your price was increased.
Online forums are filled with complaints about price increases as storage companies catch up with pandemic pauses in their rent hikes. But Mike says this came as a shock.
As much as $105 seems outrageous.
Those bills add up. The storage industry brought in more than $54 billion of revenue last year and is projected to grow to almost $75 billion by 2028. These facilities are stuffed with things people no longer have room for. Siobhan Roman is a personal finance expert. She says before you sign a contract, ask yourself some questions.
Do you need it? Do you use it? And can you replace it within a year?
Remember, it's not just the cost of the unit. If you can't pay, it will damage your credit, and your items could be auctioned off to cover your debt. Siobhan says if you need storage for more than a year, try a shared space.
Basically, it's people renting out their garages, their attics, their sheds.
And if you have heirlooms, get creative to keep your memories.
Perhaps you can take a knob off of the dresser or a piece of the quilt.
Mike plans to downsize and cancel as soon as his contract allows.
I'm actually making space in my garage now.
That way you don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery.
All right, 6:26, you're on your Friday, still ahead.
An amusement park merger will see Michigan's Adventure change hands. We'll tell you how a deal between two large companies is impacting Michigan's Adventure in Muskegon.
Cedar Point's parent company and Six Flags merging. We're going to break down how that's impacting Michigan's Adventure right here in West Michigan.
And here's a live shot here from our tower cam. There is some warmer temperatures on the way for our weekend and somewhat breezy to windy conditions today. We'll talk forecast details up next.
And great food to be had in Grand Rapids all the time, but starting today is Restaurant Week Grand Rapids. Our Candace Monticelli getting a look at some of the deals that are out there.
You're watching Fox 17 Morning News.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Janice Allen.
And I'm Elliot Grant. We were just admiring. Kevin's got a new tie, looking spiffy.
I had a new one yesterday, too.
Man, there's all sorts of. This is not new, but it feels Christmassy. So
it feels very Christmassy, and we did not plan this. Like I've got the green and red, and you've got the holiday shirt, and I feel like you look like Thanksgiving-ish with the browns.
Well, Thanksgiving does come before Christmas.
Thanksgiving, yes.
I told my wife, I said I was going to wear my pumpkin tie after Halloween. She goes, well, that would be silly to do that. But this is pumpkin season, so I decided to wear the bright orange tie instead of the pumpkin tie on Halloween. So, but it's all good.
Yeah. Well, I think what is getting us going is the snow that we saw on Halloween. That's why we're jumping into the holiday season already.
Most of which is gone. I was talking to a guy yesterday in the lakeshore there in Grand Haven. He said, there's not much of it left anymore.
That's good. I always like when it melts quickly.
Yeah, get out.
That's a Denver thing in Colorado. They'll have 8, 9, 10, 12 inches of snow, and it's gone within a day or two. Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome. Here's a live shot in Grand Rapids. We're kind of quiet out there. There's nothing on radar. We pull back to a wider perspective. If we see some sunshine today, it's going to be early. I'll call it partly sunny over the next few hours here once the sun comes up. Otherwise, there is cloud cover that's going to advance in here. And yes, you see some green on the radar screen as well because we have radar laid on this. That's really light stuff. There's a cold front that's going to drop in here today. It may tap enough moisture and squeeze out enough moisture to see maybe a couple of sprinkles or a few light showers later this afternoon and into the evening hours. That chance will be there, but I wouldn't cancel any plans. I think our high school football game should be in decent shape. They'd be able to play through that. With the wind coming off the warmer waters of Lake Michigan, it's 51 degrees right now in Muskegon, 43 in Grand Rapids. Most of us are in the low to mid 40s. That's pretty mild for this time of the year. Winds have stayed up overnight, so that's another reason. I said that yesterday. It keeps the atmosphere mixed up, doesn't allow the colder air to settle in, despite the fact we had some clearing skies, so that's why we're so mild this morning. Here's your Friday, November 3rd planner. We get up and climb into the lower 50s today with that chance of a shower a little bit later on, probably about 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and then in through the evening hours. Most of us, some of us won't see that, but the chance is there. We'll talk weekend forecast details and when our next rain chance arrives in just a few minutes. Right now, it's 6:32. Rob has an update on traffic.
Uneventful so far this morning. We're looking at 96 at Cascade Road. The video stops and starts, but we're trying to check out the flow of the traffic and the volume. And we're still at light volumes and the flow of the traffic going along at 76 miles per hour on the eastbound side of Cascade Road in Kent County. And all around West Michigan, we're really not seeing any incidents or even in the construction zones, no delays. There have been, constant delays in Hastings, lane closures on M43 Broadway Street between Mill and Benson's. This one has been extended. It was supposed to be over by now, but now this lane closure will be there with the barrels out through November 10th as the work is being done daily, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. I'm Rob Westerby, Fox 17 Traffic.
Hey, Rob, thank you. A big amusement park merger will be impacting locally loved Michigan's Adventure.
Yeah, both Michigan's Adventure and Cedar Point's parent company, Cedar Fair, is merging now with Six Flags. Both corporations making that announcement, combining their total value to $8 billion. Fox 17's Lauren Coomer joining us now live in studio to really explain what this could mean for park goers. Good morning, Lauren.
Yeah, good morning, Elliot, Janice. The companies will now have operations spread across 17 U.S. states and 3 countries. Cedar Fair says it will not only bring billions of dollars, but also more resources, like improving rides, expanding food and beverage options, as well as developing new exhibits. In a more detailed release from Six Flags, its president and CEO says the merger will, quote, redefine our guests' amusement park experience. They hope to bring improvements to parks across the country, including safaris, animal experiences, sports facilities, luxury lounges, ride upgrades, and even more food and beverage options. The merger will also create a loyalty program for season pass holders with points for extra perks. But not everyone is sold on the merger. Ray Vedek, an avid park enthusiast from Ohio, says he's been to all Cedar Fair parks 83 times. He fears with the headquarters moving to Charlotte, North Carolina from Sandusky, Ohio, it will impact the local park's quality.
So I'm also a Diamond member at Six Flags and have been to a lot of the Six Flags parks. And some of them are okay, but none of them are up to the standards of a Cedar Fair park. So as far as like the quality, the parks are pretty run down. The food isn't that good, but I think it's going to drag down what we have at Cedar Fair.
In a statement Thursday, President and CEO of Cedar Fair, Richard Zimmerman, said, quote, "Our merger with Six Flags will bring together two of North America's iconic amusement park companies to establish a highly diversified footprint and a more robust operating model to enhance park offerings and performance," end quote. Once the deal closes, the company will operate under the name Six Flags. The deal, which has been approved by both companies' boards, is set to close in the first half of next year. We have reached out to Cedar Fair for comment to see if they have any idea of how this will impact Michigan's adventure. Reporting live in studio, I'm Lauren Coomer, Fox 17 News.
Lauren, thank you. Back here at home, Kent County officials sharing more about the successes and challenges now facing the area in the 2023 State of the County address.
A big area of focus was public and also school safety.
The sheriff is implementing an 800 megahertz radio safety system in every Kent County K-12 public and private school building that chooses to participate. The system is the first of its kind in the state of Michigan and will enable schools to communicate critical, factual, real-time information to first responders.
Officials also discussed the Kent County Affordable Housing Loan Fund, which is getting ready to launch soon. It's meant to encourage the development of more affordable housing in the area. It is beginning to sound a lot like Christmas, so whether or not the snow on Halloween put you into the festive holiday spirit, several radio stations are already turning up the Christmas tunes 24/7. So later this morning, I'm very excited about this. I'm going to be at 100.5 The River as they flip the switch over to Christmas music. Last year, Santa was there, so I'm excited to, I'm actually honored. I'm honored to be able to be a part of this tradition.
Deal.
So it is, and that starts at 9 o'clock. So of course, keep it with us to
Can't
see
wait
that.
to see what the first song's going to be. You might have a role in that.
I know. I'm going to have to talk to Andy if he's there, Andy Rent, and maybe I'll see if I can maybe put in a request.
I have an idea what you would want to
What's
hear.
that?
But
Mariah?
Carey.
Mariah.
Yeah, classic.
She is a favorite. So I asked people on my page, on my Facebook page, when is it too early to start listening to Christmas music? Of course, we have we surveyed people also on our social media. A lot of people feel like, you know, with the snow, they got into that festive spirit. They're listening right now. Others said it's too early.